Welcome to the In Search of More podcast. I am your host, Ellie Nash. Join me weekly on my quest for more from myself and more from this world. We'll see you on the other side. All right. Welcome, Nissim.
Hi, thank you.
Hi, I'm sitting here with Nissim Forma,
Yes,
a TAT practitioner.
yes,
TAT stands for Tapas, Acupressure Technique.
exactly.
Beautiful. I got that.
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially trauma healing.
Yes,
And this is what you do full-time in Argentina.
yes,
You work with clients in person, you work with clients over the phone.
yes.
And you and I just had a session. Yeah, I'm still feeling it. Thank God.
Yes,
So we'll let you do most of the talking
okay.
until I come back online. So give a little bit of your background and how you got into this work, where you grew up, and the background. Explain who Nissim Forma was before he was a TAT practitioner.
Okay, so I was born in New York, but when I was 6 months old, I went to Paraguay, which is a small country between Brazil, Argentina, and Bolivia.
Mm-hmm.
And so my parents were there they went there for Shlechos, so I was raised there in Paraguay. And later on, I went to learn Brazil for many years. And basically, I was around these countries in South America.
Gotcha.
And yeah, today I live in Argentina with my wife and my 6 kids. Baruch
6
Hashem.
kids, beautiful.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
Okay, so how does a nice Jewish boy get into TAT?
Okay, so I always used to like helping people, and that was something that people used to come to talk to me.
Your father was a Chabad rabbi?
Yeah, Chabad rabbi.
Got it. Okay, so you grew up on Shlichus in Paraguay.
Yes. So
Got it.
that was my upbringing, was you're there for the others, right? So that's what I saw from my
Life
parents.
of service, yes.
Yes. And so when I got married, I was sure I'm going on chinuch. That was me. I was like, I'm going all the way. I'm going on chinuch, and that's how I started my career as a full-time rabbi, right? Actually, till today, I'm still a little bit. I do some work in Chabad Cheder in Argentina.
Got it.
Now, before Corona, I saw a video of a girl. Her name was Shana,
Okay.
and she was saying a testimony that her parents went through Avi Fishof. You heard about Avi Fishof?
Yeah, I sat with him a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I sat in a workshop of his. He allowed me to be a guest while he worked for someone
nice.
else. Yeah.
Okay. So when I saw that video, I don't know, something just hit me inside, and I was just driven to that world. I started to watch Avi's videos, and then I decided I want to go to the same thing as you want, right? I wanted to go to his
Workshop.
course, his
Yeah.
workshop, and I was introduced to the whole world of trauma. Like, I never know this whole idea. Like, of course, I know what trauma is, but I never know the magnitude of what trauma is and what trauma does to a person. So
This is 3 years ago.
This is before Corona. No, more.
Before Corona, there's many
Corona was
thousands
2020, right? So
yes.
So that was like 2019, I guess.
Okay, so just
Yeah.
before Corona. That's what I'm
Yeah.
asking. Okay, so 4 years.
Yeah. So that was a game changer, just going to him. I don't know, something just shifted in my mind. And I came back to Cheder, and I was already thinking different ways. I was thinking, looking at people in different way, looking at kids in different way.
Okay, so let me slow you down a little bit. So
Yeah.
you're innocently watching this video
Yeah.
of some girl
Yes.
offering a testimony of
Yes.
Avi Fishof's work.
Yes.
When you say girl, a young girl, a woman,
A young girl, a girl, I don't know, teenager.
a teenager. Okay, and what kind of things is she saying?
So she was saying how her life was miserable, and how her parents went to Avi Fishof, and how everything changed, and they were able to accept her the way she is, and offer her, acceptance, love, and acceptance, and her whole life changed. change.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just a little bit about Avi Fishof for those who don't know who he is. Avi Fishof runs something called Twisted Parenting, and he offers a free service
Yes.
to parents who are struggling with their children. So I'm pretty sure all the parents who come to him are from religious background.
Yes.
Most or all the children who are needing help, aside for not being religious anymore, like they've departed from their parents' ways, they're also dealing with one or more pretty significant issues, whether it's alcohol or drugs or self-harm or eating disorders and such. And Avi takes parents through a program over many weeks or sometimes more, where he offers a different approach to parenting, something he calls twisted parenting. And it would be impossible to do it justice in a sentence or two, so I don't want it to be misunderstood. But it's his theory is that if a child is behaving in a certain way, the parents changing the way they are parenting could not only prevent an impending tragedy,
Yes.
which many of these children are on course towards, but also could possibly turn around their life and the lives of their entire family. And apparently he has an excellent track record. And I sat in a room this summer. It was probably a 3-hour course with maybe 25, 30 people in there, mostly couples, but some were just a single partner for that evening. And I think in general, he wants both parents involved. And the testimonies were not testimonies because they weren't there to give a testimony. They were there putting the work in order to be better parents. And they had a lot of good things to say about the transformation of their children from when they came to Avi till then. So that's who Avi was. You saw a testimony of of a child who benefited from her parents doing the work.
Yeah.
And something woke up inside you.
Yeah.
The Pintla Yid.
Yeah.
And you said, I got to see this guy's work. I got to understand what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you reached out to Avi.
So yeah, I reached out to him, and I fly especially for this
to go sit and attend the workshop.
Yeah.
And he was happy to welcome you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was there for 2 days, 2 full
Beautiful.
days. Like it was really intense. And I don't know, I experienced something I never experienced. And the most impactful thing was sitting together with those parents. I never sat with people like this. People that are going through hell of struggle, and they're malachim. These guys are malachim because they
angels.
They angels because they put away the whole ego aside, and they're all there just for their kids. And it's a little bit hard to explain this over here right now, what they're going through, right? But it's a lot. Whatever, anything you could imagine. And these parents, they're there.
Describe some of the issues. Children going through addictions, through eating disorders, through self-harm.
Yeah,
possibly
drugs,
through attempted suicide.
Anything you could imagine. Yeah, all that.
Yeah, social isolation very often. They're definitely, whatever could be, upending their friendships, not finding any belonging in their community. People going through a lot, and parents having to watch their children suffer in this way.
And not only that,
usually for a while before they call Avi.
For a good while, yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, they're doing that in their house and there is other people living in the house, so they're kind of terrorizing everyone, like making the life of everyone miserable. And if you're going, to the context of our families, right, religious families, so we want to have a certain appearance to the world, right? And it's hard when you have a kid that is going off the derech, is going out of your way, and dressing in not appropriate ways, and so it's very challenging.
Right. So you're going a little bit into some of his approach, which I don't want to go too far because I know that on one foot it could be misunderstood, and we don't want to go too far. But
Yes.
Avi's approach is to bring the child as close as possible.
Yes.
And that would include even if the child is moving away from traditional religious values, not to shun them, and also not to impose the parents' lifestyle on the on the child.
Yeah, and it's
So
really,
sometimes that could mean having a child who's not religious and welcoming them in their home and things like that, which could create a level of discomfort. So you're saying that for the parents, going through that program is putting their ego away completely
totally
to the side,
completely aside. Yeah,
totally committing their life to the welfare of their child. And I know in some cases, parents like, literally picked up and moved to a different city if that was for the best of the child.
yes,
Like at the recommendation of Avi, saying, "Hey, your child is clearly going to do better in a different city, and I recognize that affects your job, and that affects your other kids, and that affects your life, and that affects everything else. But for this child, make that move." So you're saying parents who are willing to put everything aside
yeah, and it's
for
all
their child.
based.
That's why you call them angels.
Yeah, yeah,
Got
yeah.
it.
Very special people, and it's all based on the understanding that the kid it's not doing that because he doesn't care. He's not doing that because he's a bad boy. He's
Or girl.
rebellious. The only reason they're doing this is because they're hurting inside, because they went through trauma. So it's not when whatever their parents are doing there, it's not a show. It's real. What it means real. You really understand that your kid is struggling inside, and then you have a switch. You look at him. You don't look at him as someone who doesn't care for for the respect of the family, doesn't care for anyone. No, he's just hurting, just like someone who's in the hospital, and I'm sorry, I can't do anything. I can't go to school. I can't do anything because I'm in the hospital.
I'm in
So,
pain, right?
yeah, I'm in pain. So yeah, so that was very impactful.
Right. What you're saying there is Avi is not recommending that parents pretend in some sort of way. Avi is working to show parents that they can look at their child in a completely different way. Instead of looking at their children as bad, look at them as in pain.
Yes.
And then instead of treating them as if they're bad,
Yes.
treat them as if they're in pain, which warrants what? Something to help them soothe the pain.
Correct.
More love, not more pain.
Correct. And when they do this, miracles happen.
Miracles do happen.
Miracles happen. All you need is love. So that was very, very important in the whole journey. And then I got interested into this technique. But the truth is, before Avi, I had experienced this technique, TAT, Tapas Acupressure technique. I had experienced this for myself years before. A certain stage of my life, I needed help, and someone was able to help me with a few sessions, and it really made a huge difference in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So putting these two things together, I thought, wow, I understood what trauma is and what trauma does to people, and I knew a way that could really help people overcome trauma and heal from trauma. So I had the opportunity of learning by the COVID. We were locked out in our house. I don't know here, but in Argentina, we were for 4 or 5 months without going out to the street, just locked out in a small apartment. You don't go out, and I've been once.
Wow.
Yes. It was crazy. When we came out the first time, it was just for a walk in the street. One of my kids said, "Wow, Tati, a tree." Mama's like this. So
Couldn't leave the house for 4 or 5 months?
you couldn't leave the house. You felt like the KGB, it's going after you.
And food and things like that?
Okay, just for that, but very, very quickly, it was crazy. No kids were allowed to go out. It was crazy.
Okay.
Yes, it was very, very intense. So I started learning. With the teacher from Eretz through Zoom this technique, and I started practicing, just with friends, with family, like this, and I started seeing results. I started doing all myself. You could also apply it to yourself, the technique. So I was seeing results, and then some people started started paying me for my services,
Right.
and I really discovered something that was, I don't know, I just felt this is me. I felt this is me. This is what I want to do. I want to help people in this meaningful way. So this is how I got to TAT. So slowly I rented an office, and then I had more and more people coming in, and now I'm doing this almost, it's not really full time, but I have still a few hours in the morning that I'm in Cheder. I'm helping the Cheder with some things, but the rest of the day I'm focusing on this. Yes.
You have full practice, clients and everything just from this over the last couple of years.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. So that's about that.
Got it. So we just did a session of this right before we started.
Yeah.
Figured instead of just talking about it, have me experience it. I'm definitely still feeling it through me, like in the sense that I know I feel physically different now than. Now, I'm not talking about the issue, nothing to do with whether or not we process something or that. I'm just saying that something definitely happened.
Yeah.
Right. In the sense
Yeah.
that was there's a movement of energies
Yes.
inside. Right.
Yeah.
For sure. That I felt. So do you want to explain the and just to be sure, you flew out here for this conversation because you want to share this technique.
Yeah. I want to
With a
share
lot
this
of-
message to the world. It's a technique that I can't understand. How is it something so powerful? People don't know about it. I just go crazy. In Eretz Yisrael, there's hundreds of practitioners doing this. And you know the technique comes from here, from LA. The
Oh,
lady
right.
who invented, she lives in LA.
Yeah.
And here you have a guy coming from Argentina to to tell the American people that we have this. Yeah.
Right. I've never heard about it. And have you tried other techniques? Have you compared it to other things? Maybe EMDR, which is very popular, or
No.
no?
No.
You just for yourself, you found that
I know
this is
this.
very valuable.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, my teacher, he knows a lot. He already tried many techniques, but me myself, I never tried something else. This is what I know.
Right.
Yes. Hmm.
But wouldn't the question of how is it possible that we don't know this, meaning we would maybe there's something better?
Than this.
Yeah.
So, like this, I hear a lot of people going through struggle. I hear about a lot of people going to therapy, right? And even people that went through this others um, type of techniques. I don't want to say names, okay? I listen. I hear people going through many type of techniques, and people there, just going again and again. And okay, there is people they heal, and that's good. It's awesome. Okay, now there's a lot of people they don't heal.
Right.
And I say, okay, if you don't heal, I know this technique works. I don't know about other techniques, and I'm sure they also work. Everyone in their own
Right.
way. I'm not here to say that other techniques don't work. I'm coming here to say that the TAT works, and yeah, it's something to consider.
Right. Yeah, it's possible everything works. Like I've done a lot of EMDR, and had good healing from that. But I certainly wasn't done. I've tried everything under the sun. So someone comes to me
Yeah.
with something, I'm like, let's do it. I just started. I was interviewing someone here a little bit ago, who does hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
So halfway through the conversation, I just said, let's stop the conversation here. Let's do a few sessions, and then I said, how can I experience it? So it wasn't like in your case, where you can do a session in 20, 25 minutes. In her, she said I'd like 3 sessions, and then. So I'm 2 sessions in, and I got some great healing.
Okay,
Yeah,
Baruch
I've done it so
Hashem.
far. I'm
Very
saying, so
good.
I've tried everything, but I'm.
Yeah.
This seemed nice so far. I'll tell you in a few days whether I.
Okay.
I'll give a review.
Okay.
But yes.
Good.
So, but the bottom line is, in your experience, you've personally benefited from it,
Yes.
and over the last couple of years, you've had people come to you who are frustrated at not moving forward with the healing techniques they were using, and you found them make progress with this.
Yeah.
Can you give an example?
Yeah. Like going through trauma. Yeah. Any type of trauma. Could be a loss.
No, I get that, but
What?
maybe there's a story that comes to mind. You can change enough details that it's not relevant. Maybe a client who came to you, they were sexually abused for many years. They tried, these 7 techniques, and then they came to you and found some sort of breakthrough, and the breakthrough shows up in this way.
Okay, I don't like so much bringing stories. I'm gonna try to. So there was a couple who they went through a loss, very sad loss.
Okay.
Okay, and they were very affected by that. And they came in 4 sessions. It was gone. There was no trauma anymore, and everything that used to trigger them, the places that used to remind them and trigger them.
Right.
They were able to continue going to all those places and with no triggers. So simple story. They had a trauma, and after a few sessions it was gone.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big trauma.
It is.
Okay,
I need to clarify, not every case it's so fast.
I understand.
Sometimes it takes longer. Every case, it's a world. So, but there are cases where it's extremely fast.
Was this did this couple try other modalities before trying this one?
No, so this
This was the first.
Yeah, this was
Okay,
the
but I'm
first.
hung up on nonsense anyway. It doesn't make a difference. If it works, it works.
Yeah,
We don't have to compare to
yeah.
everything.
I'm not here to compare and say I'm just bringing this. Okay, just know that there is this technique.
Right. The only reason
that's-
I got on it was because you said I can't believe that more people don't know about it. If it came from here, I'm saying maybe there's other things they do know about.
I
That's
see what you're
working well.
saying. Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it was just me getting caught on something
Yeah.
irrelevant. It's not the main point. So
I do hear from other people that they go to different techniques and it's very helpful for them. So
right.
I'm not here to say other techniques don't work, but this is something very valuable, and I think the world could benefit from this much more than what they are.
Well, one thing for sure is that it was shorter than most other things that
What do you mean?
I've done. It was shorter.
The time that we did.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
It was 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's so what you have half-hour sessions? Is that your standard?
No, I do longer. I do about an hour session.
So you'll cover a few different topics, maybe.
Not everyone is so fast as you. I mean, not everyone has the same speed. Also, people sometimes they want to talk and they want to tell you a little bit more about what they're doing. So the talking, it's not the healing, but sometimes people they need to share also.
Right. What's going on?
Like you had something very specific that you want to work on, right? Sometimes situations are more complex.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also we didn't talk too much about what it was. I didn't really tell you anything.
And also it went smoothly, but not always. It was so smoothly. Sometimes there are blockages in the middle, and the person is not being able to heal. Not always goes so smoothly, and then I need to see what's going on and address that thing.
Understood.
Like a person who doesn't want to heal, right? So he's trying to heal, but if he has a part of himself that doesn't want to heal for any reason, let's say he identifies himself with the victim, that's his identity, right?
Right.
If he's gonna heal, then he's not gonna be a victim anymore, and then who am I? You understand? So there's many things these are like beliefs and things that could get in the middle of the way, and you focus on them and you put them down and then you continue. So with you was very very smoothly, just went on, and there were no problems in the middle of the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple times we went back to something, but nothing like that.
Yeah.
I want to heal. But by the way, a podcast could be done just on this topic of people who don't want to heal. Not to say people don't want to heal. Like the way you said it was correct. That there's a part of someone who often doesn't want to heal.
Yeah. I had once a person who it was going very, very good. Someone who came from very, very, unfortunately, very hard situation. Was going so smoothly. And then he got stuck. He couldn't move. He couldn't move. He was just got stuck. And I asked him, what would you lose if you heal? So he went, very deep concentration. And he said, if I heal, I'm not going to be part of my family anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine that? So I never judge people. I never, whatever the person says, that's what it is. We don't question that. That's what it is. So he really had that feeling. I'm not going to be part of my family anymore. So I rather not heal and continue being part of my family. So we worked on that, and then he was able to finish healing.
Right.
So there's so many things that could come up in the middle of the way that are holding the person to truly heal.
Right. I'm glad we're talking about it because I'll see that sometimes with people. And, in my view, anytime something is sticking around for a while, it's because there's a personal benefit to the person. So we have to ask, what's the benefit? What gain does someone get from whatever this thing that's, I don't know, they're working on the same issue for 10 years. So obviously there's some personal benefit. Otherwise, why would you keep it around? Not to say there's only benefit, because they're also there working on it. And there could also be chaos and destruction from it. But until we address what is the personal benefit that someone's getting, it's hard to get past it. And sometimes just a suggestion that there maybe can trigger someone really badly. Meaning it's there, but they don't want to admit it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So like
yeah.
sometimes
So-
people trying to find shidduch, right? So there is a big part of them, they want to get married, but someone who's many, many years trying to find a shidduch. There are cases where, right, it's really, but many times when there's someone many, many years trying to find a shidduch, and it's possible there is something in the way. Maybe there's a part of me that is just afraid of this. So I want, but there is a part of me that it's afraid. So it's, what's the word,
self-fulfilling.
no, boycott. How to say it?
Sabotage.
Sabotage. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
So they sabotage himself.
Right.
So when it's getting, it's starting to get good, and I start to get afraid. So that part comes in and ruins the whole thing, because I don't want to get there.
Right.
So I think it's very important to be aware of our parts, because sometimes we think either I want or I don't want, but it's not like that. We have so many parts, and it's very important to be able to be present with all my parts and embrace them and look at them and hear them, listen to them and talk to them and see what's going on with them. Because I could be trying to become rich, but I might have a part of me that I don't know, it's afraid of money, because in my house, money was a reason of fight,
Right.
or I don't know, anything like that.
Yeah, anything's possible.
So, or I'm just afraid that I'm not gonna know how to handle so much money. I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my money. So it's kind of crazy, right? I want to become rich, but I'm afraid of becoming rich. So I just make sure somehow that I don't get rich, that whatever opportunities comes,
Sabotage them.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, definitely a very important topic, and important that we address it, not as judgment towards someone, but for someone to hear it and recognize that it's very, very normal.
Yes.
Most people have this to one degree or another. There's a part that's rooting for them and a part that's rooting against them. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're subtle.
Yeah.
Who was I talking to recently? And they focus on helping women struggling with infertility. And they were just talking about a case that was very complicated and complex and frustrated a lot of doctors, both emotional healing and physical healing. And eventually something came to light around maybe something that happened to a sibling when they were born, like when they were a child, a sibling which was born, and something happened to them, or some other issue that made them really, really afraid of bringing a child into the world.
Yes.
So until they were asked the question, like, do you really want to have a child?
Yeah.
And it's a crazy question to ask, because the person had gone through many, many IVF treatments, spent tons of money, had worked very hard. But do you really, really, really want a child? And the answer was no, not 100%,
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
Not 100%. Until that's addressed, it's sometimes hard to, and it can't be addressed until we admit it's there. Sometimes, even if we know it's there or think it's there, we're afraid to admit
Yes.
it's there.
Yes.
So I'm glad we're discussing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the next.
What
so
else?
No, so you were talking about your kind of work through this. So working through clients.
Yeah. So TAT, it's not only for trauma. Okay, it's not only for trauma, fears, and negative emotions, stuff like that, but it's also to reprogram your mind. So this is what happens when we're young, when we're a child, right? They say till 6 years old, maybe till 10, but specifically, like especially till 6 years old, we are like sponges. We're just absorbing everything that we see. That becomes our map. We come to the world, we don't know anything, so we observe. We're learning how this world runs, and we're learning how to do things.
Right.
So that becomes our subconscious mind. They say 95% of what we do daily, it's coming from the subconscious mind. We're not conscious about every move that we do, right? We're just just doing autopilot, right? So when you want to change something, you want to change a behavior, it's very hard. And this is something, a way to illustrate. When someone goes on shidduch, right, with his wife, so his future wife, right? So usually it's a very nice and pleasant experience. What's really nice, beautiful, everyone is happy. And then when you get back to, when they get married and they're in real life, then stress comes in. What happens? Then suddenly he gets nervous and starts screaming like his father, and she gets nervous and she starts acting in a different way. And they're like, wow, I didn't see that when we were going on shidduch. So what happened? So what happened is very simple. When they were going on shidduch, they were conscious about everything they were doing. They were not acting on autopilot. They were actually thinking everything they were saying, every gesture, every move, everything they were doing. They were so conscious that it should be according to the way they wanted it to be. But when you get relaxed, once they get married, they get relaxed. And specifically when stress comes in, because our mind, our brain understands stress like danger. And when you have danger, you need to act fast. And when we need to act fast, you need to listen to the subconscious mind because it's like a million times faster than the conscious mind. So, like a person went through something really dangerous and he did something crazy and he was able to save himself and save other people's life. And then you go to him, how do you think about that? I don't know. I just did it, right? That was a subconscious mind.
Right.
So when there's stress in life, and then it could come out of you things that you don't want, things that you saw in your house. So, and I want to talk about chinuch a little bit, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Chinuch, it's something where this is so important with our kids. This subject. Because,
Education.
Yeah, education. Because we get triggered by them. So here's what happens. I'm gonna say to you something. I took many chinuch courses, okay, and they helped me a lot. They gave me a lot of information, but together with information, they also gave me a lot of guilt. You know why? Because many times I just reacted in the moment of the stress. I reacted in the wrong way, but deep inside, I know what's wrong. When I come down at night, I just thought about it. Why did I do that? Was that needed? Why did I do that? I know, I know 1 + 1 is 2. I know what's the way to do. I learned this. I know.
Right.
Why am I acting this way? I'm not acting according to my values, according to the way I want. So what's going on with me? So this is the same thing. I'm acting out of my subconscious mind. I'm just acting without thinking. It's autopilot.
Straight survival.
Yeah. So if I want to truly change a behavior, so one of the ways, it's by reprogramming your subconscious mind. So that information that is in your subconscious, if you could change that, and TAT could do that. I know there's other ways also, but TAT is a way you could reprogram that, and then you not tend to go to that way. You could just be straight and think straight and don't be entangled to that wrong way of doing.
Okay, so I'd like to explain the technique a little bit so people have some idea of what it is. So is the technique more about the hand placement, like at different points you start off, hands on the head, hands on the heart, hands, one hand here, one hand there, all of that. Is it more about that, more about what's being said, or both?
It's both.
Both.
It's both. If you see the sentences, it makes so much sense, right? The first sentence, right, really getting into the healing was, this happened. And what is this happened? Come on, this happened, really? Yeah, it happened. So many times, you went through trauma and you're still asking yourself, did I really go through that?
Right.
So if you can't touch ground and accept that this really happened,
It could be a denial or bargaining or
then you can go further and heal. So the first step, it's acceptance. Just accept this happened. Oof, this happened. This happened. And then you could go to the next step, which is, this happened. It's over. It happened. It's over. So we're like laser focused on one thing. And since we're with the hands, which help us to be focused, fully focused, you could truly in half a minute, you could do something that might take months to do.
Got it. So the position of the hands, one behind the head and the others, 2 fingers, one under each eye and one on the forehead. That's meant for what?
For focusing to be fully connected with myself. There's also energetic element, which is acupressure, right? Which, just like acupuncture, right?
Mhm.
You're touching energetic places. Also, these places over here, these are meridians that are connected to the whole body. So this helps for the whole energy of
I
the
got it.
body
It's not
to,
like Shema, like I said. Like
it's exactly the way the Temanim do it. It's mamish the same way. They do it like this. And so, it's natural. Many people, when they stress out, they just go like, oh no, I can't believe this happened. They just go naturally like this.
right, that's true.
And there's people that say, wow, amazing. Over here in the back, it's like the shin. It's like the tefillin we put here in
Right.
the back. Understand? But these are, interesting things that we see. Like, it's not that the person, says, oh, and I want to do it like the Shema. And therefore she decided to do it like this. But yeah, we see there's something natural in the person. When you're stressed out, you put your hands over here and it relaxes you very much.
Got it. And here. Right.
And there's everyone has their own explanation. Many clients that came to me, they say they have, oh, I know what this is, this is meditation, this is, oh, this is Nachman, this is breath out, this is talking to Hashem. Everyone comes, it's very interesting, and it's okay. I think everything is valid. Everyone has
Right.
their own. There's people, they say, I feel hugged, I feel contained, I feel I'm in a safe place. Yeah.
Interesting. Regardless, you find that it works.
Yes, that's the main
And
point.
how difficult is it to learn?
No, it's not too difficult.
Right.
6 months. And it's 6 months to a year, person could learn. And it's more about the practice and understanding the concept and practicing a lot. And together with a mentor.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then things always come up. Each client, like you said, is a whole new world. Things come up, and it's how do we navigate this one?
Exactly. So I'm in touch all the time with my teacher. And, back then I used to be, all the time. But today, Baruch Hashem, I'm more independent. But still, when something like really hard comes up, I go back and I ask him.
Got it. Very cool. So you just get more and more experience around this technique, and
Yeah.
So your motivation in coming here was simply to let the world, whatever the world, let the portion of the world that listens to this podcast know that this exists.
Yeah, there's not one man here in Miami, in Florida, that I can. If anyone asks me, there's not one person here that I know in Florida that does this technique.
Fascinating. And if someone would like to learn it,
Yeah,
how?
they could contact me. I could give him the information they need to find the teachers. They could also go to the official website of the technique, which is TAT Life. They could go get information over there.
TATlife.com.
Yeah, tatlife.com.
And if someone listening to this is not in Florida and wants a practitioner, where would they go? They can also reach out to you.
They could reach out to me. Yeah.
And yeah, you do over the.
I do it on Zoom.
Right.
Yeah.
You do virtual or in person.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So, what is your association with this podcast? I mean, you wanted to come out here and everything. I'm curious. I just do them, so I don't know what.
Okay, so yeah,
what people think about.
Actually, it was Yossi who invited me to come here.
Oh, okay.
This never came from me. I never dreamed to be here.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Never came into my mind to come here. But Yossi told me, you need to come. You need to share this. So actually, I thought it was a very good idea to come here and share this with the world. It's a place where a lot of people could see and know about this, and I wanted to share this with the world.
Right. Yeah. Yossi has spoken very highly of your work. Yossi Lichi helps secure guests for the podcast.
Yeah.
So I got it. So he reached out to you.
Yeah.
And presented it, and you said, "Hey, it's worth worth coming out."
Yeah.
So what more is there to say about it?
Okay. So everything that is related to trauma could be healed. Anything that happens to a person, and let's say like this, any most of the situations a person finds himself with a struggle, it's connected to the past. So any situation of shalom bayis, of what do you say,
Disputes like family disputes,
Yeah.
marital disputes. Yeah.
yeah, and chinuch, education, and just working yourself, and something very important, which is Torah mitzvahs, just religious. It's if you could heal your traumas, then you're good. There's something I want to talk a little bit more about people that they not keeping Torah mitzvahs the way they like to, they used to, right? And sometimes they they just wanna they wanna become better. So I'm gonna say this in a way of a story, which is a true story, which happened to me. So a few months ago, I was going to the oil of the Rebbe. It was my birthday, and it has been a long time that I haven't been there. I was traveling to the Rebbe, and I was thinking in the way I was thinking that as soon I'm gonna be by the Rebbe, and what am I going to write in? What kind of achlata am I gonna take this year? So I realized that the achlata that I'm gonna be taking this year is gonna be the same as last year, and the same as 2 years ago and 3 years ago, and which is to keep better chitas Rambam, to the daily learning of chitas Rambam.
Meaning you hadn't done it, like you made the commitment each year and you hadn't done it to your liking. Yet.
I do learn chitas Rambam, but I have ups and downs.
Right.
Sometimes I'm
so
more,
not to your liking.
What?
It was still not to your liking.
It's not like I doing like every single day. And I was going through, let's say, a very down time where, I wasn't even sometimes concerned about it. I didn't care. But so I was thinking, what should I do? What kind of achlata of good decision should I take? Yeah, I'm going to write to the Rebbe that this year I'm going to keep better Chidas and Rambam. And I stopped. The whole thing is in the airplane. And I'm thinking to myself, really, I'm going to take another achlata. I did it already so many times. Why is it this time going to be different? So I know the answer. The answer is that if I really want to change, I need to heal myself of anything that could be blocking me to do this the way I want to do it. It's much easier when you're helping others than when you're helping yourself, right? So if anyone else will come to me with a struggle like this, I want to do, but I'm not really getting to do this. So I will try to find where is the blockage, where is the trauma, where is the person stuck. So I realize it's kind of stupid that I'm gonna take another achlata, another good decision, and not do the real work. So I came to this conclusion that, you know what? I need to work on myself. I need to see what parts of me are rejecting Chitas and Rambam. And I thought about it, and I found I went through some years in yeshiva where I resented Chitas and Rambam. Why? I don't know. It
was a burden.
It was a burden, yeah. I wasn't doing it from love, from really, I was happy doing about it. I felt like obligated to do it. It came to a point where I was really resentful because I wanted to go to sleep, but I didn't finish Rambam. So I can go to sleep. And and the feeling is like it's 11:30 at night. I'm dead tired. All I want is just go to sleep and rest. But I can't go because I didn't finish Rambam. I started to be very resentful about it. And also, I'm ashamed to say, but also a little bit also with the Rebbe. Because why is the Rebbe imposing things on us that
are a burden?
Yeah. So that was that. After.
And just to be clear, so you worked this out in a TAT session?
Yeah, I'll get to it. So
Okay.
I never worked on it. Actually, after I went through, there was a specific time when I was in Eretz Yisrael that it really was really, really hard on me, this whole thing. And a few months after, when I had left Eretz Yisrael, I met with one of the main mashpim mentors from that yeshiva, Teres Emes. And I spoke to him. And I said, I really poured my heart out, and I said how I felt about it. And wow, he presented to me something that I never heard in my life. He said, you need to know that Rebbe really loves you. And that Rebbe wants you to be happy. And I said, yeah, but I just want to go to sleep sometimes. So he said, no problem. If you're really so tired, so learn an halacha and go to sleep. And tomorrow morning, you'll finish it. You learn a pasuk of Chomesh Rashi, you didn't finish. Okay, you learn one pasuk, and then you go to sleep. And wow, I never heard that in any Farbingens, in any other. And, something so simple, the Rebbe wants you to be happy. And if you think about it, and you go through the Farbingens of the Rebbe, how many times the Rebbe said, Besimcho betuv levov, these words, with happiness? How many times the Rebbe said? So many times. The Rebbe really wants us to be happy. And it's not this thing that I don't know how it became in our, I don't know, I'm talking about myself, but I know there's other people too, that they have this feeling that it's a burden. So
I'll tell you why, because I've heard this about tzedakah, right? That you should give tzedakah, you should give charity, b'sumcha and utuv levav, right? With a full heart and a good heart and joy. And that became a second burden, the joy.
I also need to do it.
Now am I doing it? Meaning I didn't interpret it as don't give if it doesn't make you happy. Give with happiness. And now if you're only giving and you're not happy, like that is the two burdens. Give and be happy about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm saying that's how it could be twisted, but that's if we're so programmed to hear everything in like as obligation.
No, it's not.
Right,
Chabad is something
comes.
beautiful. The Rebbe, it's something beautiful. Chassidut is something beautiful. It's the most precious and sweet thing that there is on the planet. But it could be so twisted. Yeah. So I heard that from that mashpia, and that was very helpful for me. But in a more deeper way, the trauma inside me was still there, and the rejection was still there. And what happened was like this. Every day I had the intention of doing Chitas and Rambam, but since it was a burden, so I will just push it off. You know, like procrastination, like you just push it off. I'll do it later. Oh, if there's a video to see, I want to see the video now, right? Why? Because I enjoy the video, right? But Chitas, I'll do it later. It becomes too late, and I just...
Later becomes never,
Yeah. So that meant that I was rejecting. There were parts of me that were rejecting this. So what did I do? When I came to the oil, I actually was very, very interesting. I met Rabbi YY Jacobson there.
Cool.
Yes.
Shout out to YY.
Yeah. So I had this question, and that was a question that I had in my mind, that if someone wants to improve in Torah mitzvahs, what you need to do is to heal yourself. But in Sfarim, in our books, we don't talk about healing, we talk about doing Chuva. So I went to Rabbi YY. I said this question. I told him what I do, that I help people. And I said, when people come to me and I want to help them, I never tell them to do Chuva. I never tell them they should be more from, they should keep better. I never say any word like that. I just help them heal their trauma. And then the neshama just by itself, shines, and the person wants to do the right thing. They want to do, they want to do whatever. They want to live according to their values. So is that a contradiction? So is it tshuva? Is it healing? What is it? So Rabbi Wahawi said to me, very simple. He said, the tshuva is a healing. He said, you need to do tshuva. And how? You do the healing. That's what you need to do. If where you're holding is that you need a healing, and that's what's going to help you, and that's what you need, that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because tshuva is to return to oneself, to return to our original state. So heal our traumas, heal our problems.
He said exactly what you just said now. That's what he said. He said, tshuva, it's tashuv. You go back to yourself, because the trauma is taking you away of yourself, of your true self, and you're not that. So Rabbi Wahawi said, you take away the trauma, and then you go back to yourself. The trauma is the klipa, the trauma is the yetzer hara. So you take away that. That is what's keeping you away from doing whatever you want to do. You take away, and then you could go back to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew a couple who the guy was struggling not struggling, but more the woman was struggling, wanting to always sleep, I guess from anxiety, always sleep in the same bed as her partner.
Yeah.
But obviously with Hilchos Nida and stuff like that, that's not always possible.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, right, there's kind of two ways to think about it. He was discussing with me. There's kind of two ways to think about it. So one is do it anyway, right? But it was bringing up real anxiety. I'm not talking like real anxiety. His spouse did not like sleeping alone. I don't want to say panic attacks necessarily, but really, really real discomfort.
What is do it anyway?
Do it anyway. Sleep in separate beds.
Okay, yeah.
The other is to say this will come about naturally. And this is not like an instruction for everyone. Everyone do, what it is that works for them. But this will come about naturally if the anxiety is healed. Meaning, there's two ways to look at the instruction. Meaning, one is that there's an ideal state where both partners could or should sleep separately at different times of the month. Okay, That's not possible right now without causing someone immense pain.
Yeah.
So, do you force it anyway, or do you say, let's heal? And how do we know that something is unhealed? Because we can normalize this. We can say, no, it's supposed to. This should be like this. No, so we have the concept. The concept is that this should be not only possible, it should be sweet. Right?
Yeah.
So it should be sweet. It should be comfortable. It's not comfortable now. Okay, so that's the indication that there's more work needed.
Yeah.
Right, within the relationship, within the individuals, in order to get comfortable that the spouse is comfortable sleeping alone. It doesn't bring up major anxiety. And then from there, that can flow naturally. So there wasn't a conclusion in the conversation. I'm just saying the two perspectives, not negating halacha, but one is where we force ourselves into it. The other is that is used as the destination and saying, okay, obviously there's some healing that needs to be done. There's a part of me that likes the second. I'll tell you why. Because the second meaning the second is actually Chuva. Someone forcing themselves to do something, then
it's not gonna work, yeah.
No, so they'll do it, but then they won't address the underlying. Maybe they will or maybe they won't, but they're not necessarily encouraged to address the underlying factor. Just like, okay, so we'll sleep anxious, right? Or one of the
repress.
says, right, sleep anxious, deny it, feel bad about it, forever. The others say, no, let's not change it. This is a destination, but right now we're not here. And work to resolve the anxiety, knowing all throughout that is a destination and a possibility and the ideal state for the couple. And I'm sure a lot of this, I'm not giving anyone instruction or halacha or anything else. I'm sure a lot of this is very personal to the individual as far as someone committed to keeping halacha. But just the concept of how do we view this and that discussion going back and forth was interesting. I thought
sometimes we think like there's only two possibilities but there might be a third one, like either this extreme or the other extreme, but unless you could find a way, just heal, you address a problem, and then
meaning use the way I would say is like use the halacha. In this case, was use the halacha to confirm the fact that there's something unhealthy in this relationship, because if a couple is being asked to do something that they can't do without causing immense pain, then that means there's unhealthiness within the relationship or within the individuals in the relationship or both. So use the halacha to identify that, and then from there.
Now I would say that not necessarily it's a problem in the relationship. It could be that this lady,
it could be an individual.
She has something personal from her.
Yeah, it could be one or both. I was saying one or the other. But there's something not right in the mix.
So going back to that story, so that was
just one more thing. I liked what you said about the having chitas and Rambam and doing the one
one halacha.
It's interesting, but I spoke about it not long ago. I've shared many times here on this podcast about kind of my journey with Shabbos. And for a while, I've distanced myself completely from it. And over the last few years, more than the last few years, but over the last maybe 10 years, there's been a continuous progress. And it started with one thought, which I never felt like I learned growing up, but someone shared it with me and said, why don't you do something for Shabbos? I'm like, what do you mean do something for Shabbos? I'm not keeping Shabbos. Like, what are you talking about? Do something for Shabbos? Okay, so do a little more. Fine, so stop working on Shabbos. Stop driving on Shabbos. Stop maybe put your phone away on Friday night. Something for Shabbos. And for me, until then, it was always like, either I do it or I don't do it, like this all or nothing idea. And as soon as this was suggested and it became kind of a gradual thing, then I say, okay, let me do something for
Amazing.
Shabbos. And this same
Amazing.
person once told me, he said, Eli, what do you think about doing a little more for Shabbos? Like, how much more you want me to do? I'm already not driving. I'm already not, I'm not working. I've cut out so many things. Like, what do you want me to do? He said, maybe take a shower before Shabbos and change your clothes. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I hear that.
Yeah.
Right. I hear that. I'm saying this is not the way I was raised. I mean, I wasn't raised that this was a thought or suggestion or possibility. It was either you're keeping it fully, whatever fully means, right? Or
it's not worth it. It's
don't even touch it. You're not just Shabbos. What are you doing? How can you you call it Shabbos? And this gradual process has gotten me much closer to it than anything else. So it's interesting that you kind of shared the same idea in a different way. Okay, Chita Shalom, do one pasuk.
Do one pasuk, and tomorrow you'll finish it. And now that you're bringing Shabbos,
and then you can feel good about it also. Instead of feeling all this guilt from not doing the rest, you feel good from doing one.
And what does the guilt do to you? The guilt just
makes it a burden.
Yeah. So you bring up Shabbos, and many people, they have PTSD or they just have rejection to Shabbos because all of the stress that goes around Shabbos.
I had that big time.
Okay.
Big time.
Yeah. So tell me about it.
So I had it before. It came up for me actually in an ayahuasca ceremony, and it felt like it healed it. And without even realizing, a couple months later was when I put my phone away completely for Shabbos. And it didn't seem like a possibility before, but it was this recognition that in my home, the onset of Shabbos came with a tremendous amount of stress. The 18 minutes, the showers, the lights have to be off. This has to be done. Like everyone's running. And it didn't matter whether Shabbos started at 4:22 or 8:22. Like somehow everyone was running like a chicken without its head for the last 15, 20 minutes. And I started resenting this idea that Shabbos starts at like this minute. And even as a teenager, when I was keeping Shabbos, I would say like Shabbos comes in when it comes in. Like by the next day, it will be Shabbos. Don't give me 8:22s anymore. I'm not dealing with exact times. Okay, I'll finish up, and then at some point in time, like Shabbos will have been taken on. But this is 1 second it wasn't, the next second it is, and all hell has to break loose because of it. Don't do that for me. I like this actually idea. When I was younger, we had relatives. We didn't have many religious relatives, but we had one which lived in Borough Park, I think. And every once in a while, not often, we would go there for Shabbos, and they would take in Shabbos at like 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it wasn't a precise time. It was like, okay, the intent is to get at 12, 1 o'clock. And then when everything is done and it's relaxed, okay, let's go to shul, daven mincha, and, we'll light Shabbos candles, and Shabbos will be taken on. And that was, I didn't have many experiences there. Maybe I went 3-4 times as a kid to their home. But I remember that it didn't have that
stress.
It didn't have that stress, Yeah, I wonder if there's some real value in that.
The same thing applies also to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. For many, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, there are such heavy days.
Dread.
What?
People dread it. They have dread, like pachad.
Yeah. And I could talk about myself. This whole idea that, every second of Rosh Hashanah, the way you behave, it's going to be the whole year. And you need to say to him every single minute. And this pachad, this fear and this, the minute Rosh Hashanah will finish, I will go like this, oh, finally finished, And was it meaningful Rosh Hashanah? No, it wasn't. Now, of course, the Rebbeim, they said all this, right? I don't think it was in this, in this context. So this Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, they were the most meaningful Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur in my life. I was just happy to be there, just enjoying every moment.
Which one?
Now, this is the last one. Yeah,
right.
Because I have done some personal work with the technique, and I don't know, it just felt nice, felt beautiful. I just felt happy, and now, what did Hashem appreciate more? My other Rosh Hashanahs where I was like this, waiting for Rosh Hashanah to finish, or this year that I was relaxed, I was happy, and I was enjoying the Chag. There were times I didn't even wanted to have guests for Rosh Hashanah. But whole, with my wife, she wanted to bring guests because when you bring guests, you feel more the Yom Tov. But I was like, no, Rosh Hashanah, it's not a day to talk. It's a serious day, right? No, bring guests. Be happy. Hashem will be happy together with you. Enjoy the Chag. Enjoy.
Right. I think that like the messages are there, but it's who are we speaking to, right? There's kind of different levels to the game. So I guess my final question, final thought. So you were in education before you got into this work.
Yeah.
Now you're still somewhat in education.
Yeah.
How has this changed the way you educate your students? Assuming you're not doing TAT with them.
Yeah.
Right. So how has this changed the way day to day? Who was Nissim as a teacher in 2018, 2019 before this journey began? And who is he as a teacher today?
Yeah, so today I don't really deal with kids one-on-one. I'm training teachers in Kriya, which is something that I'm specialized.
Kriya meaning?
How to read Hebrew.
Got it. Okay.
So I'm training the whole staff of the schools in Argentina, and we're doing a very nice project on that.
Where in Argentina are you?
In Buenos Aires. Yeah.
Got it.
But I do get
Shmuley Gajzinski is connected to you?
Yeah. You know Shmuley?
Yeah, I do know Shmuley. He's an old classmate. Yeah, I'm still in touch with him.
So I moved to Argentina. I used to live in Brazil. I moved to Argentina just because of Shmuley.
Oh, really?
Really. Because his program is amazing.
He has a very nice reputation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very special person.
Yeah, me and him were classmates.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, for years.
Very nice.
Very cool.
So, but I do get to sometimes to do some work with kids. And what changed is to see what's behind. Don't just judge the kid. See what's behind. Why he's not getting it right. Try to think a little bit more. Maybe there is a reason. Maybe the kid's blocked for something. Maybe there is something that's not letting the kid to get where you want him to be, right? So that was very much what changed in me after going to Avi Fishof. When I saw a kid with a negative attitude, a kid didn't want to learn, a kid was, with all kinds of problems, or chutzpah, he didn't want to listen to me. So instead of thinking, how do I break this kid? How do I twist his arm and force him to do what I want him to do? Not that it was that much, but
no, but it was energetically you're forcing.
like everyone needs to fit in. I used to be very, very, very structured. Like these are the rules. Everyone needs to do the rules. Open my mind to see, oh, maybe this kid is going through something,
right.
And I don't know about it. And guess what? When I actually I looked for it, I found it. Because kids, they wanna succeed. Kids want to succeed. Kids want to be good kids. They wanna learn. I don't believe kids don't want to learn. I mean, of course, if you have a normal curriculum, a good school, But I think kids, they want to succeed. They want to do the right thing. If they're not doing, okay, let's think about what's going on. Maybe he's going through something, or maybe me as a teacher or as a school, we're not getting something right over here. Right. So instead of blaming the kid, look into yourself. Am I doing everything right? Or is the kid going through something? But the kid will never be the one to be blamed. There is something happening in there. We need to find out what is it.
Right. I had an interaction with my two sons this morning. So, in general, when I parent with a lot of love and, my kids are young at this point, but how often am I around them? But when I'm there, just...
How old?
5, 4, and 3.
Okay.
So in general, I parent with a lot of love. The one thing that gets a little tough is when the kids fight with each other.
Yeah.
That's like...
I hear you totally.
Right. All your rules go out the window.
Yes.
So, at first, it was like, okay, maybe I'm not being tough enough. I need to be tougher. Pick the kid up, sit him down on the steps. You have to wait here. And I felt like my reaction was more about, let's say, the child who was hit feeling protected than it was about disciplining the one who hit. Because I was like, okay, fine, kids hit. Anyway, today on the way to work, I'm on the way to school. I'm driving them to school, and with my two sons, and 5 and 3, and a 5-year-old pulls a 3-year-old's hair, and he's crying. So I turned around. I said, first, I comforted the 3-year-old. He stopped crying. Then I turned to my 5-year-old and I said, why did you pull his hair? So, and I think in the past, I would have used more force. Not force when I say like just a forceful energy. So, hey, you can't stop. That's not okay. He's your little brother. You
Yeah.
should protect him, whatever it was. And so I said, why did you hit him? So he said, because he said he's older than me.
Hmm.
So, and then my younger son said, no, I no, I didn't. Whatever. They started arguing a little bit. But I was thinking, I was like, in his mind, that's a valid reason. That's a valid reason to. Meaning I wouldn't have had an issue, let's say, if I said, why'd you hit him? He said, because he hit me first. I'm like, okay, expect to get hit, right? Like that, I think in our brains, that makes sense, right? You'd go point back to the one who hit first and say, hey, if you hit, expect.
Yeah.
Right? But I was thinking about it. I'm like, in his world, for whatever reason, this upset his world that it felt valid enough for him to hit. So I don't know if it'll work or won't work, but I said to him, but you're older than him no matter what he says. Like, he can't change that just by saying it, and you don't even know why he's saying it. Maybe he's saying it as a joke. Maybe he's wrong. Like, people are allowed to have their opinions. It doesn't change. You're always going to be older than him no matter what he or anyone else says. And he seemed to calm down from it. But what I was thinking from it is the first time I dealt with it in this way. And I'm not saying it works or doesn't work or anything else, but I was thinking that it certainly makes much more. What was the assumption based on? The assumption was based on that he's not bad, not like a bad kid, just hitting another kid, and certainly using force to tell a kid not to use force. I mean, that's the hypocrisy of all hypocrisies, right? Don't hit, and what if we're not hitting physically, we're hitting energetically. Don't use force to get your way. And what am I doing? Using force to get my way, whether it's picking him up and moving him somewhere. I can only do that because I'm 4 times his size, right? So I'm using force. So I said, so this was coming from, in his world, he has a valid reason to do it. Not as a bad kid. He thinks this is the right thing to do. So try to appeal to that. And we'll see. The jury's out on whether it works or won't work. But I felt better about this interaction. And everything calmed down. My youngest son was fine. He stopped crying. My older son, something seemed to switch in his facial expression, at least, when I said it in this way. And we went to school in peace. So we'll see. But I'm just kind of parroting back this thought of, when meeting a kid, don't assume, not to assume that what they're doing is bad behavior. It makes perfect sense. If you have all of their information, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you knew a kid was beat up last night and he was misbehaving in your class, you'd say that makes perfect sense. He's not bad. He's angry. A cry for help. Okay. So just coming in, so you feel like this sensitivity to trauma first allowed you to understand your own. I'm not bad for not wanting to learn Rambam. Perhaps there's some association from when I was a teenager.
Yes.
And the same thing, I have this kid who's misbehaving. He doesn't need another rule, another discipline, more discipline. He needs to be understood in terms of why this behavior makes sense in his world.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes it could be, I'm failing on the discipline.
Sometimes that's what they need.
Yeah, it could be that's what they need.
Yes.
But I need to stop and think, what's going on over here?
Right.
We are so, I think, disconnected today, this day, right? With the phones and all that. We're so disconnected from ourselves. The adults, we're so disconnected from our surroundings. We're not present with our families and what's going on around us. And let's not talk about that. Okay, that's another issue to talk in a different podcast, right? But if you're not present with your kids, with your students, if you're not present with them, don't expect them to behave the way you want. You're not there. Hello. I see it all the time. When I'm with my kids and I'm taking care of them and I'm in my phone, they just start misbehaving. So it's not about, let's find another technique. How can I make them listen to me? How can I make them behave nicely? Are you present there? You're a father, right? You're present with your kids. Are you there with them? If you're not them, you're not present. And what are you causing? You're causing kids are not, they have a father who's not present. And they just misbehave. They're not.
So you're saying start there.
I think this is another point to take in consideration, that it's not fair to expect that our kids, they're just gonna behave correctly and do whatever you want just because I said to him he should do that. And there's so many factors. Am I an example of what I'm saying to him? Am I there with him? Am I present in his life? I think it makes a whole difference if I'm present in my kid's life. I'm there with them. I think that itself, they feel Tati is with me, Mommy is with me. And when you're not present, they're like by themselves. I'm not saying over here that they need your presence. If you don't do it right, I'm gonna punish you. I'm not talking about that. Just your presence as a father. Let your kids stay by themselves for many hours. What's gonna happen, right? They're not contained. No one is taking care of them. Are you really there? I think it's something to take in
Right.
consideration.
Start with that.
Are you with your kids? It's very easy. Well, you're looking. People call and they search for all kind of quick fix opinions. How do you say that?
Techniques or solutions.
Solutions to fix their whatever I'm not liking. Yeah, I'm upset because my kid is not doing homework. I'm upset because my kid is doing that and that. Come on, just stop for a moment. What's going on over there? Think. You're just expecting him to do whatever it is just because you want. You're not even there. So put your phone outside, and be with your family, be with them, feel them, talk to them. You'll see. You don't need any techniques. All you need is to be present with them.
Bring full presence to the situation. Okay, let's try to tie it all together. So we started talking about your story, growing up in Paraguay, on Shluchas, a life of service. Eventually from there, becoming a teacher. From there, through COVID, having an opportunity to learn this TAT technique. And then over time, that developing into a practice.
Yeah.
And today you're teaching Kriya. You're teaching teachers and you're teaching, and then you're working on the TAT. And during that, we covered a number of different topics.
Yeah.
Right? Ideas. There's the trauma, parenting, relationship to Judaism.
Oh.
How do we bring everything together?
So I think that at the end of the day, it's our neshama wants to do the right thing. We're good people. We all are good people. No matter what, we're really, truly good people. And if we're not standing in the place where we want, there is a reason for it. So stop punishing yourself. Stop thinking bad about yourself. Just, accept there are things that are blocking you. Accept there are things to be worked on.
Right. It's not who you are. There's something blocking you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So stop, recognize that, breathe, and look for the help that's going to help you.
Amen.
This in any aspect of life.
Good.
This punishing yourself, right? It's not healthy. It's not productive, and it doesn't get you anywhere. It just makes it worse. So, like we spoke before, the first
and if
step,
you're punishing yourself, don't punish yourself for that. It's always acceptance. You're saying always bring a level of acceptance.
Always starts from acceptance. So where am I? Don't change anything. Don't start by changing. Don't try to change anything. Just stop and accept. Look at yourself. Be with yourself. Be connected with yourself. What's happening to me? I'm going through a hard time. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. This is hard for me. Okay, accept. Once you could accept your parts, what I'm going through, I'm a good person. There are things that led me to where I am. I heard a story. I mean, not someone that came to actually work with me, but someone who called me from a different country to talk about a relationship with a wife. He says, I can't live with her because she's controlling me all the time. And she doesn't trust me. And it's crazy. She's under, she's looking over me all the time, and I can't live. She's always, And I asked her a very simple question. Tell me about your mother-in-law. How was she? So he said, oh, my mother-in-law. Oh, she was controlling everything and everyone. She was always afraid, always controlling. So, what happens there? You thought there was a problem with your wife, that she doesn't trust you. She was actually just copying what she saw from her mother.
Mhm.
So, just stop, see, recognize people do things for a reason. There is a reason why people do things. And if you really want to change, you should address the problem. So instead of having conversations why you don't trust me and trying to talk and safe about it, a person could just go for help and heal whatever is in the way and have a good life.
Okay. I like the message.
Yeah.
I like the message, and it's good. It's good that you carry yourself the way you do and you deliver a message like that. One of acceptance, one of non-judgment, one of reducing punishment, both towards self and towards others.
Yeah, and the same is with addictions. It's okay. I don't need to say it to you.
Yeah.
You know this better than me. Addictions is just the same. So people who come to me with addictions, chas v'shalom, I never look at them down. I know there is a reason. There is a reason. So, yeah, it's nice to do this. It's nice to do this job because you get to learn how to stop judging. It's easy to say no, don't judge. Yeah, but when you see time and time and time again that people do the things for a reason, then you really start.
Right, you bring that to all areas of your life.
Yeah.
Right. So when you see something, you assume there's a reason.
Yeah.
If someone is interested in working with you, how do they get in contact with you?
They could go to my website,
which is
shalvahealing.com.
Shalva?
Shalva, yeah.
SHALVA.
Yeah.
Healing.com. Shalvahealing.com.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish you tons of success. I wish
Thank you.
the people who come to you for help much healing, and I will let you know in a few days how
okay.
our session settles.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for making the trip.
Okay.
Very excited. And say hello to Shmuley when you
Sure.
see him again.
I will.
You give him a warm hug for me.
Okay.
Thank you.